Now, have you ever come out in a rash, felt bloated, or perhaps developed a headache for no seemingly apparent reason?
Well, it could be that you're one of the 40% of the UK population that have a food intolerance or allergy.
In a moment, we're going to be talking to Dr. Hilary about how to spot the signs if you think you might have a food intolerance. But first, here's Mum Sarah Stoneham on what it's like to live with not one, but two children with severe food allergies.
Ella's age 10 and Isabel's age 8, and they're both anaphylactic to milk and egg. Absolutely anything that we buy that comes into the house, we check to make sure, does it have milk or egg in it? So we check the dog food, we check our toiletries, so any body creams or shampoos, anything at all that we might use in the house that might come into contact with the girls, we check everything. My husband and I sometimes eat food that the girls can't have, so we need to make sure that that is stored safely in the fridge. We need to make sure that everything's washed meticulously. So we actually have separate pans for cooking those things. If we're going to eat out, we have to really be very prepared, so we'll try to contact the restaurant before we go. Really, we have to trust people really implicitly with the food preparation. Both girls carry EpiPens, and they have done since they were very small, and they carry them with them at all times everywhere they go, and they are auto-injectors, so they need to be injected into their thigh if they're having an allergic reaction. We've got all our systems in place. You know, they've taken a while and we've made some mistakes along the way, and as they get older, just managing their way through it and making sure that our home is really safe for them.
Well, Sarah, along with daughters Ella and Isabel, are alongside Dr. Hilary. Nice to see you again. Thanks for coming in. Allergy UK, Sarah, say a quarter of adults in the UK think that people with allergies are just fussy eaters. In your experience, is there a lack of understanding?
There definitely has, and certainly when Ella was really small, that was the case. You know, people didn't understand. We're talking about 10 years ago, and here I am with a baby, and I'm saying, well, she can't have milk. And, I had people say things to me like, well, you'll do more damage not giving her dairy, because that's the conception. And obviously that isn't the case at all. You know, giving her dairy would actually put her in real danger. I think it is getting better, but it's important to make people aware of how dangerous it can be.
Because it can just seem like a little bit of an overprotective, fussing new mum in a way. Some people rush to that judgment. Can you remember what it was like when you had your first shock when you come across something that you shouldn't be eating?
Probably not your first one. She was only 18 months when she had her first
okay.
reaction,
What something that you can remember?
Talk about your last one that you had.
What happens to because your throat gets
Yeah, my throat swells up, and I sometimes find it hard to breathe, and I go very red all over, and my lips swell and get tingly.
And get hives as well.
Yeah, I get hives, and I get a tummy ache.
Oh my goodness, frightening.
How scary? Yes, it must be really scary.
Yes.
Yeah, Isabel, you have allergies as well. They're not as severe, are they?
No.
As Ella's. What can't you eat?
Dairy and egg.
And there's a lot of things that means that you can't eat. Some of them really good, it has to be said, as well.
Yeah, lots of things that little children always eat, like biscuits and cakes. And
What do your friends? What do your friends make? What do your friends make of this?
Some people say at school, because sometimes I get some stuff that they don't get, and they say, oh, that's so unfair, but sometimes they say, well, you for having allergies, because you can't have this stuff.
I know. Well, you obviously manage it very well.
They know what the issues are here, which is fantastic.
Actually more understanding sometimes, because they've grown up with a world with allergic children. You know, when we were small, no one had allergies. Well, that's how it seemed.
Well, you've touched a nerve with. Oh, sorry.
It's good now because there's lots of stuff. Like we can have our own ice cream, our own butter, and
that's really clever, isn't it? And that's Brilliant. Although, actually, and it's touching lots of people commenting, and one of the things is that it is great there's more things available, but they're very pricey, aren't they?
They are.
Compared with
It's a lot more expensive.
Very tricky,
yeah.
isn't it? Hilary, lots of people are very confused between the difference between just not liking something, children rejecting something, and proper allergies.
Absolutely. You know, lots of people have got food aversion. They don't like the texture of this, or you know, they don't like the flavour of that. And they think E numbers stimulates them. But that's not allergy and that's not intolerance. They're very different. 2% of the population have true allergies, which are an immediate reaction to certain foods with quite frightening results, and they need to be taken extremely seriously. Intolerance is much more common. Some people will find that they eat certain things, they get bloating, or they get headaches, or they get aches and pains, migraines, arthritis, that sort of thing. And those symptoms are very difficult to pinpoint and associate with the food, because it could be something that you had 3-4 days ago, and therefore avoiding foods is very difficult. It's important, I think, for people to realise that it's difficult to get the right help to prove an intolerance or an allergy. A good source is your GP, who can refer you to a specialist. There aren't many in the country, but the British Society of Allergy and Clinical Immunology is a good place to find a specialist. And there is one scientifically validated test for intolerance where research has been done at the University of York, and it's based in York if people want a test for intolerance. But there's also a lot of disreputable companies out there who are saying we'll diagnose you with your food intolerance, and there's no science to it. You've got to be very careful where you go.
Helpful advice for you guys at home that have been in touch with us. Tim Mayer is an example of how this can develop later in life. She didn't start suffering from allergies until she turned 60, and it was that mixed nuts, it was the nut allergy that we hear so much about. Paulette is highly allergic to potato starch, which only started 7 years ago. She says she spends 24 hours in A&E and ICU units on a regular basis, really debilitating, as potato is practically in everything, says Paulette. We feel your pain at home. Hopefully the advice that Dr. Hilary has given you will help somewhat.
And you might have allergies, but you've got some good genes. Have you ever seen such a beautiful family? Look at all 3 of you.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. So it's obviously working, whatever you're doing.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks
Nice to meet
very
you.
much.